Hi guys, Anne Marie here, and today I'm walking you through my Christmas cards. I started the year with this wonderful goal of making just like 5 or so fancy cards every month. I did not meet that goal, um, but I'll walk you through what I did get done. All right, my first card that I made was this one, and I made a few. This was a Sizzix die that I'd gotten, and it looked super cute, and I do love how they turned out. But it was so tedious and kind of difficult. The die was difficult for me to work. I feel like there's a few things that they could have done to make it more efficient and user-friendly, but I won't digress into that. I'll just show you the really cute end product because it is cute and I'm proud to send these out. So it's like a little door, the little wreath and a little transom type window, and then it opens up to the sentiment. Okay, so I did some stickles, little glitter drops. I layered 2 of the wreath cuts to get a little more dimension and fullness to the wreath. The lock and key, these details are so gorgeous, but again, they were really kind of difficult for me to manipulate. Even that lock hole, that keyhole, that's a separate die cut piece. I feel like, you know, that could have just been cut into the brass plate and then I could have backed it with black. That would have been easier. Something like that. When it opens up, I did gold heat embossing. So those weren't perfect because, in my opinion, heat embossing is never perfect. It's never an exact science, I feel like. But it's still a beautiful sentiment. I think it fits nicely with the elegant feel of the card. And again, I'm really proud of these. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got about 7 cards and I attempted to make 10. Hi, Billy. Hi. You're in the way. Yes, that's you. You are in the way. Come on, sugar. I tried to make at least 10 of them, if not more, and maybe a dozen. And this is what I ended up with. It was usable. So it was difficult to use. That was last January. So then in February, I took an APG, Amazing Paper Grace die that I'd gotten on clearance at Spellbinders. And instead of using it to create a standalone card, it kind of makes a 3-dimensional case almost. It's beautiful. I just used this panel and some of the inserts to create a flat card. And I ran it through so that, you know, my entire card was shaped to fit that. I used a different label die and just some stamping with some ink that, look at that perfect match to that cardstock. I was proud of that. So if you can see, it's a deer, and then there's some greenery, a little bunny, some birch trees in the background, and then I added a little bling to some spots in the scroll work. And I did 4 different versions of these, of that style of card. Oh, that one I'm going to have to repair the vellum because the vellum tore. But that'll just take a little bit of vellum adhesive and that'll stay. I think maybe this one's my favorite. I like this thicker, it was like more of a rice paper. And I like the higher contrast of the birch against the background. I feel like that added some depth to it. But then I'm not a huge fan of the dark blue gemstones that I used. Always my, biggest critic, right? This one, I had some mishaps, some tearing. I was having trouble getting the right sandwich. So I ended up cutting some fancy photo corners and adding them in the corners to kind of cover those mistakes. And it still goes well, since it's the same color and that same scrolly type style. And I'm pretty sure I tried to have at least 5 of these and I ended up with 4. So that was something I, was learning on this journey. Journey of trying to make more complicated cards or more elegant, layered cards was that I needed to plan for things to go wrong. I'm pretty sure I could rename my channel like Accident Prone Scrapbooker, and that would probably be the most accurate name. All right, so the next round of cards was from a Spellbinders card kit. Again, uber clearance, woot woot. And I kind of did them in pairs. So this first pair, I'm not sure which. One of these, I feel like this one, because I wouldn't have thought to stack the sentiments. I feel like those are two standalone type sentiments. So I believe it was this one. This was a case, a simplified case, but still a case of a card that Nicole Spohr created with this card kit. That's often how I have to start crafting. If I'm really blocked on an idea or my mojo is just nowhere to be found, which happens often when I'm stressed, then I have to start by copying somebody else, and then I can move on from there. So I started by copying this card, and then I moved on, just variations on the theme. So there's die cuts from the kit. That's what all of those are. Some of these, like these stacked paper flowers, those are actually two separate pieces of die cut ephemera from the package, or from the card kit. So they were already, you know, glittered and shaded and all of that beautifulness. So then my first riff on that was not stacking it and having two flowers and just kind of spreading out the floral greenery. I started tucking in some of my own little tiny flowers. These are from that Martha Stewart hydrangea punch that I use frequently. And I took away the little matted sticker sentiment because I feel like this stands alone, especially metallic. It's a very strong image. It's going to be fine. And then again, I just kind of continued riffing on that. So this one, I started stacking the hydrangea punches. I went ahead and I did tuck in another sticker sentiment, and I started doing that on the remainder, but I separated it from the main sentiment. So it was, to me, it seemed more like it was reinforcing the theme instead of competing with the main sentiment. Kind of more of the same, combining. Now I'm adding in metallic flowers and kind of embracing the black that was found in the kit, which I don't necessarily think of as a holiday color, but I thought it went well with this. It's just little touches. And then my final two, again, I was using two flowers from the ephemera packs included in the kit, and started using my scraps of metallic cardstock to get some of these really fine details. But I started also pulling colors that I thought went well with the ephemera piece. But they weren't perfect matches, so if I had to do it again, I would either lightly ink these or just search for something, maybe a white that I then inked really lightly, a blue-green or something like that. Or cream that I lightly inked with like a Tattered Rose Distress or something. And I also used some colored gemstones on these. They're pretty. I like them, but I really prefer almost the more monochromatic, where, you know, the navy is really strong and there's some touches of neutrals, but otherwise it's more neutral. I like that personally. Easier to match for sure. So in that same card kit, basically my holiday crafting then like screeched to a halt. So this stack, I believe, was, I don't know, March or April. And then after that, I kind of got away from it completely. When I returned, so I think sometime this summer, I went back to that same card kit. And again, I started with something that was a direct case. I believe it was these two that weren't matted, but I am not 100% sure. But I completely kind of copied the designs on these and then just riffed a little bit. So You can see, like I had to change to different size stars, like very small changes. In general, they're exactly the same. Close-ups there. And then I just went off completely and did my own very simple, very quick card, because at this point, this was for a card challenge. I was running behind. I was in a hurry. So this is a very flat card. The sentiment's straight to the background. There's no foam tape, no dimension, except on the sticker that I used, which did include 2 little pop dotted elements. It's part of the reason I chose it, because then it's all I had to do was slap that on there and I'm good. Although then I felt like the balance was a little bit off, so I did add a little ribbon at the top. Then I have some. These were completed previously, and they're just in my stash. This one actually might even be in my Christmas card share video from last year, because I believe maybe it may have gotten overlooked and not sent last year. I can't remember. And then these were cards that I had created for my Etsy that I just hadn't sold, and they're very basic cards. So, I mean, that's fine. I understand. This is the type of card that I was really used to making, and I made a lot of, and it's why I wanted to switch things up and try some cards that were definitely more involved, because they're both perfectly fine cards. Some of them, I would say, yes, they are beautiful cards. Look at that metallic and the stickles. I love that. But honestly, I'm more proud of this card because it did take a significant chunk of time. But you know what? There's going to be people in my life that don't appreciate handmade cards, and these are great for them. These are great. I don't have to feel bad about sinking, 7 hours into a card and them tossing it. I don't have to care. I can just let that go. But I still had the satisfaction of making a project. This was an 8.5 by 11 paper pad, cardstock pad from Hobby Lobby from ages ago. And I got it on an Uber clearance. Or was it Michael's? Might have been Michael's. Either way, it was on an Uber clearance. I got this whole paper pad for like $2. I am not finished using it. And these are probably half the cards that I made with it. For now, this is my stash of handmade cards that are going out this year, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I got a lot going on, just like y'all do, right? So it's fine, and it's wonderful that I'm able to send any at all. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I hope you're okay with whatever you're doing for the holidays, even if you're sending mass-produced, bottom at the store. That's wonderful. It's so sweet of you to think of people and to want to send them a thought. So good for you. Good for us. Let's go. Let's have a good week. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Thank you.